Establish a place to put your Snellen chart, you need to have 20 feet. And so that wall over there, we've had to come down into my basement here to set this up. I'm going to be putting up the Snellen chart and demonstrating how to use it next. Now you want to pick a well-lit area. The height of the Snellen chart is 64 inches to the 20/20 line, and you want to measure 20 feet back for your patient to stand. Now, as your patient is standing at the 20-foot line, you're going to be pointing at different areas on that map and asking them to read the line that you point to. But we're going to do it one eye at a time, and so you'll want them to cover up their eye with either the palm of their hand or a piece of paper so that there's no cheating, because if they use their fingers, they can see through, and then that might skew your results. Now, you can do a without glasses and with glasses. We definitely want to note that in your annotation if you're doing both. But typically we'll just leave the glasses on to see what their visual acuity is. So let's begin our test. Can you please read line 1? E, F, P, 3, T, O, Z, 4, L, P, E, D, 5, P, C, E, F, E, D, 6. And I can't read that last line at all. Now when it comes to determining the actual value that we're going to assign for that patient's visual acuity, there is something you need to be aware of, and that is the patient can make 2 errors on a line and still get credit for that line. If they make more than 2 errors or they're unable to read the next line, then that is where we would stop. So in the case of this assessment, able to read line 5 with 1 error and then unable to attempt line 6, and you noted signs of squinting and leaning forward, which are troublesome signs. So we're going to go back to line 5 and give credit for the line 5 visual acuity, which is 20 out of 40, so at 20 feet, they can see what most people would be able to see at 40 feet, and there was 1 error made, so we're going to put a -1, okay? Now when assessing the left eye, you want to employ a few different strategies to make sure they're just not repeating what they've just said to you. One of the strategies I will share is to start at a different line, so you don't have to start at number 1 like you did the first time. You can start at line 3, and then you can skip to line 5, or you can have them read it backwards. That's the second tip, is to go to line 4 and read it backwards. And that helps you to ascertain that what they're reading is authentic for their vision. Then of course, once you've done the left eye, you want to do both eyes together so you have the full picture, and that would be your visual acuity assessment done using the Snellen chart. So the real question is, what does 20/20 vision mean? In order to understand this, we need to know that the top number represents how far you're standing away from the chart, and the bottom number is the distance in which a normal eye would be able to read that particular line. So for example, 20 over 200 means that you are standing at 20 feet away from the chart, and you can see at 20 feet what others can see at 200 feet. That is not very good. Now on the other end of that spectrum, if you were standing at 20 feet and you have 20/10 vision, that means you have better eyesight because another person would have to stand at 10 feet to see what you can see at 20. So the Snellen chart is typically used for those who are school age and above, and we have to make sure they can read and understand their letters. If you're dealing with somebody who is younger, they do have pictures on the back side, or there's another one that uses just the letter E, and it has the E in different